Wigs are not the enemy, but let's stop giving them credit for work they're not doing. Listen, I'm not anti-wigs, but I am pro-truth. And the truth is, not every wig wearer's hair is thriving underneath that unit. Because trust me, I'm here wearing a wig in this video while growing back my edges. After postpartum shedding, snatch them out, and I'm sorting out my scalp issues as well. So trust me, this message is coming from experience, not judgment. But I digress, okay? Nonetheless, we need to stop calling wigs protective styles, because if your real hair is breaking under your wig, what exactly is it protecting? Right? Because the harsh reality is, if your hair is dry, your edges are thinning, and your scalp isn't breathing, that's not protection. That's just damaged hair dressed up as convenience, okay? So in my previous video on low manipulation and protective hairstyles, I stated that wigs do not fit into either category. So let's stop confusing coverage with care. Now, I know everyone loves to say I'm protecting my hair under this wig, but if wigs were really protective, again, why is your hair still dry? Why are your edges still fading? Why is your scalp crying for air? Listen, if wigs were the magic solution, we'd all have waistline hair by now, right? And if you've been depending on wigs to protect your hair, we need to talk, because depending on how you wear them, they might be hurting your hair more than helping it. So in this video, I'm breaking down whether wigs can be considered protective styles, if they qualify as low manipulation, or if truthfully, they're neither. And I'll explain why. How you wear them makes all the difference. So, are wigs really a protective style? Alright, let's start with a clear definition, because too many people are mixing up styles and strategies. Because listen, you can't protect what you haven't prepped. Alright, so a protective style is a hairstyle that tucks away your ends, reduces daily manipulation, and helps your hair retain moisture. A wig, on the other hand, my dear, is not a style. It's a covering. So when people say my wig is a protective style, I challenge that. Alright, let me ask you this. For example, would you say your satin bonnet is a protective style? No. You'd say you're wearing a bonnet over your protective style, right? So when it comes to your wigs, it's the foundation underneath the wig, the cane rolls, the twists, the plaits, that determines whether your hair is protected. So yes, a wig can be part of a protective strategy, but by itself, it's not protective, because a wig that blocks access, causes tension, and hides neglect is not protection. It's a disguise. Alright, so let's get a little bit deeper with that, right? Now, if your foundation is breathable, your wearing schedule allows breaks, and your scalp is healthy and it's prioritized, then yes, a wig can support your hair health goals and becomes part of a protective strategy. But if that wig blocks scalp access, damages your edges, suppresses care and maintenance, then it leans more towards concealment than protection. And concealment is not care, and convenience without maintenance is just slow damage. So again, wigs are not inherently protective, but the strategy makes them supportive or sabotaging, because ultimately it's the foundation underneath that determines the protection, and how the wig is worn plays a huge role. So let's talk about glued versus glueless wigs, because a lace that's been melted for 3 weeks straight doesn't sound like protection. It sounds more like a lockdown. Alright, now as mentioned, there are two kinds of wigs, and they are glueless and glued, and they come with very different outcomes. For example, the benefits of glueless wigs includes them being easy to remove. They allow for regular scalp access so you can cleanse, moisturize, and oil your hair and scalp when needed. And they're also great for short-term wear. However, the main drawback is that they can cause friction or tension at the hairline or at the nape if worn too often without breaks. And to be honest, with mine, I only wear them if I'm stepping out my house or recording content. Other than that, my hair is out and my scalp can breathe. So yeah, I only put this on when I come and sit in front of you guys or if I'm stepping out to go somewhere, all right? Now, when it comes to glued or lace wigs, some of the benefits includes the fact that the hair is tucked away from daily manipulation and it shields the hair from environmental exposure like the heat in the summer and the dry air in the winter. However, the main drawbacks when it comes to glued or lace wigs is that there is no scalp access, so you are going weeks or even months without tending to your scalp. So underneath the lace wig, your scalp may become dry and flaky or even sometimes become a breeding ground for bacteria if you've been sweating under your wigs and you aren't able to clean both your hair and your scalp. Also, the adhesives can damage your hairline, and we have seen plenty of videos online with women sharing that, right? And the heat tools used to melt the lace and even constant tension weakens your hair strands over time. So glued wigs might snatch your look, but they could also be snatching your edges as well. But let's be honest, glueless wigs have the potential to support a healthy routine and can be protective, especially if you give your hair breaks. But lace wigs, they require serious care to avoid damage. Okay, so let me be clear. I'm not bashing wigs because I'm actually wearing a glueless headband wig right now, right? Why am I doing that? Because I can remove it at the end of the day. It lets my scalp breathe and I can cleanse and oil my scalp regularly. Like yesterday, last night, I just washed my hair and threw it in a low manipulation protective style. So this video isn't about avoiding wigs. It's more so about understanding what wigs truly are and wearing them without damaging your protective styling, i.e. your hair, which is the foundation. Now, if you're going to wear wigs, glueless or glued, you must take care of your hair underneath it. Otherwise, you're just hiding damage and not preventing it. So underneath this wig, my real hair is plaited up, sealed, and prepped using the Hair We Gro moisturizing butter, and my scalp is nourished with the stimulating growth oil. Because once again, your foundation matters. A wig is just the cover, but the Hair We Gro is the care. Now, you'll find all the products I use linked in the description, and if you're just starting your hair care journey, I recommend the Growth and Retention Duo. Now let's bring it full circle. You know I like to do that. A protective style is something done to your real hair. It helps keep your ends tucked, reduces manipulation, and supports moisture and length retention. A protective strategy is the bigger picture. So it's the entire approach you take to protect your hair from start to finish. So that includes how you prep your hair, how you moisturize and seal your hair, how your hair is braided underneath your wig, how long you wear your wig, and how your scalp is maintained during the process. Because throwing a wig over dry, neglected hair isn't a strategy. It's a cover-up with serious consequences down the line. So no, wigs aren't protective styles by default, but they can be a powerful part of a larger system when used intentionally. So don't throw on a wig and call it care if the foundation underneath is a mess. You have to protect the real hair. So the next time someone says wigs are protective, I want you to ask, but what's going on underneath that? That's where the real protection happens. Nonetheless, regardless of which style you wear, the benefit of wearing wigs is that wigs with a solid protective base underneath can give your hair a complete break if it's done right. as the foundation is protected with cornrows or plaits. The wig can be removed for regular scalp access. There is no manipulation on your actual hair strands from the wigs, and your scalp stays protected. But once again, the wig alone isn't protective. It's part of a protective strategy. Now, here's how I like to think about it. A wig is a tool, not a routine. It only becomes protective when it's part of a system designed to support healthy hair practices. So let's stop calling the wig itself protective. A wig is a covering. The real protection comes from how you prep your hair underneath, how often you take the wig off, and how you care for your scalp while wearing it. So once again, wigs are not the enemy, but let's stop giving them credit for work they're not doing. You can't fake a healthy routine. Your hair will always tell the truth. All right, so let's keep it moving, because in the next part of this video, I'm breaking down what not to do even when you think your hair is protected. That part might hurt some feelings, but we need to talk about it.